Hey there, welcome back to the athomedive YouTube channel. As always, my name is Joey and today we're in the kitchen making something absolutely fantastic. As you'll notice, today I got on my green kale yeah shirt, and that's because we're gearing up for St. Patrick's Day. Although we're not making kale, we are making something even better and way more appropriate for St. Patrick's Day. Today we're gonna make Irish fried cabbage, and that's gonna be a real treat for us. So sit back, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive right in. Alright, so today on the counter for our pretty simple list of ingredients, we're going to start off with, obviously we have 1/2 a head of a medium to large size head of cabbage. I have 2 tablespoons of Kerrygold Irish butter, which really shines through in this recipe. And somebody was asking about the Irish soda bread recipe where I mentioned that this Kerrygold butter is so much more yellow than traditional butter. This, for example, is Land O'Lakes Unsalted butter, and you just see the full color difference there with the Kerrygold. And we have coarse ground salt, coarse ground pepper, which we'll be using to taste, 1 medium onion, 3 cloves of garlic, 6 slices of bacon, and 2½ teaspoons of Worcestershire. You can use whichever Worcestershire you want to, just like the butter, but I prefer Lee & Perrins. Lee & Perrins is the one Worcestershire that I really stand behind, although you can use whatever you have or whatever you choose. Also, it's really handy to go ahead and have a slotted spoon for whenever we go to take the bacon out of the fat. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna put you guys on time lapse while I get all these things cut up and out of the way. So now we can take a look at all of our ingredients now that they're ready to use. I went ahead and showed you how I cut these just to give you a little bit better idea of what we're looking at. I cut my onion into really thin strips. That's gonna help it cook evenly and very quickly. The garlic is also cut into nice thin even pieces as well. And the cabbage is cut into similar strips to the onion, but a little bit wider and a little bit thicker because we want them to have a little bit of texture left to them. The bacon, I had already cut into half-length strips so that they would fit in my bowl, but after that, I cut the strips 1/3 wide and about 1 inch or so long. You can really cut these however you want, as long as you cut them pretty even so that they cook evenly. Also, as I cut the cabbage down, I was sure to not use the core. The core is really not what we're looking for. We can go and cut these out and set them aside. So now I've got a pretty large pot here, and I'm gonna put this on the stove on medium-high heat. You can use a little bit smaller pot if you'd like to, but just know the larger the pot, the faster this is gonna cook. So you may wanna keep a better eye on it if you use a larger pot. The first thing we're gonna do is go and add in the butter and the bacon and try to break the bacon apart into chunks. I'm gonna give it a shot now, but I'm gonna try a little bit more as the bacon warms up. It'll be easier to come apart. I'm gonna go ahead and note for you too, that if you're in a hurry or you wanna do this a lot faster, now you can cut up all your other vegetables while your bacon and butter are cooking together. This really will help you save a lot of time and make the process a lot smoother. I'm just doing it this way to demonstrate to you exactly what I'm doing.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So as we can see here, the bacon is starting to get nice and foamy and it is very crispy. So I'm gonna go ahead and scoop all of this out with my slotted spoon. Now we're gonna add in the onions and garlic. If you noticed, I left as much of the fat in there as possible. The fat's gonna help these onions cook quickly and evenly. We're gonna leave the heat on low and basically break these apart as much as possible, just like whenever we made the bacon. This takes a little while as well, but not nearly as long as the bacon. At this point, if you want to, you can turn the heat up just a touch because the high water content of the onions will really help these cook out a lot faster without the risk of burning. Now that the onions are translucent, you can go and add in the cabbage, and I like to add about 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. The salt preference is totally up to you, so you can wait to add more later on, which is why only 1/2 teaspoon for now. So as you can see here, we're starting to get a little bit of color on the bottom of the pot, which is not a big deal because it'll scrape right off and that flavor will get incorporated into our cabbage. But our cabbage is starting to soften up here. It's not mushy, but it's a little bit before that. And there's a little bit of moisture in the bottom of the pot here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add in the Worcestershire and a little bit of fresh ground black pepper and let this moisture cook off. All right, so as you can see here, a lot of the moisture has left the pan, and that means that we're about ready to go. This is where you want to taste the cabbage and see if it needs a touch of salt or not, and then keep in mind that you're going to be adding crispy, salty bacon to the top of the cabbage. So if you think it needs just a touch of salt, maybe it doesn't. If you think it needs a lot of salt, maybe it does. Here is our cabbage, and as you can see, it's got little bits of brown butter and crispy bacon in there. It's just the little trimming pieces though. And we have the rest of the crispy bacon here. If you try a piece of this on its own, you'll notice that it is nice and crispy, and it even has a buttery richness to it, which is quite nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just cover the entire top of this with the bacon. You could have left the bacon in there, and it would have still had all the flavor, but it wouldn't have had that nice crispy crunch or that beautiful appeal of the glossy bacon right here on top. So as you can see, it's a very simple, very modest, but really delicious and affordable dish to make for your friends for St. Patrick's Day. It's great to share with the whole family. All right, well, that wraps us up on how to make Irish fried cabbage. Comment below and let me know how yours turns out. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Remember to have a happy and safe St. Patrick's Day.